Hey, it's Josh from G&G. We just got a new Goldhofer trailer that I am currently still learning how to use. They are similar to our Faymanville trailers that we have, but there are some differences that are going to make things confusing. So as of right now, I figured out the override and how to lift the rear axle, and that's what this video is going to cover. So on the driver's side of the trailer, in between the second and third axle, here is the override valve or the dump valve. Right now I have it completely exhausted. In the center is normal ride height. Pull it down, and you can bring it to the right, and that raises the airbags. You bring it back to the middle, normal ride height. And the left is dumping the air. So right now I want to show you, I'm just going to put it in raising the airbags right now. Show you how to lift the axle now. So right now I currently have it where the axle is being lifted. This is a pin that lifts the axle. When this pin is in, you got to make sure that there is no air going to the rear axle's airbags, because those bags will explode if you have the axle lifted and you have air going to the airbags. So you got to know how to not put air to those airbags when you lift it. So we're going to go through that right now. Right now we're going to dump the air completely. Bring it all the way down. Bring that air all the way down. We'll put weight on that axle, and it'll end up freeing this pin. When that pin is free, we're gonna pull this out. Yeah, it just freed up. Okay, there you go. And this pin rides right here when the axle is down. Let's see, probably easier to do this. Alright, I needed two hands to put that in. So there we go, there's that pin. So that stays there. The air is completely dumped. So there you go. So now you're going to be able to put air to the bags, and the axle will stay on the ground. So we're going to raise it. Normal ride height. Override, bringing the trailer up. Now you got to worry about this button right here and this button right here. So the button on the left gives you 1.5 inches of additional ride height to keep the axle up off the ground. Out eliminates that 1.5 extra inches, and that button has to be pushed in when the axle is lifted. It does not get high enough to keep it off the ground if that button is not pushed in. Not like a Faymanville. So I have that pulled out. So this is pulling it out does not give you the additional ride height. Now, if you look right now, there is no air in that airbag for the rear axle, but there's air in the other two airbags. The axle is down, so you gotta have air going to that bag. The only reason there's no air going to it is because we had the axle lifted. You cannot have air going to it when the axle is lifted. This button right here, push it in, fills that airbag up. Alright. We're going to put it back in the normal ride height. So just going down the road right now, all three axles, this is the position you want it in. Normal ride height. This button is pushed in to give the airbags air on the rear axle. and this button is pulled out to eliminate the extra 1.5 inch ride height. You do not need that to keep the axle off the ground because the axle is down on the ground. Alright, so now we are going to lift the axle. We are going to exhaust the air completely. We are going to lift the axle. Right now, I'll just pull this button out. That eliminates the air going to the bags on the rear axle. Remember, you gotta have no air going to that rear axle in order to lift the axle, the rear axle. If you keep air going to it, you will blow up those bags when you lift the axle. So that's a must. You have to dump the air going to that rear axle. And then we're going to push this button in. That will give us an extra 1.5 inches of ride height. Before you bring the air back up, you got to come back here, grab the pin. Dang it. There you go. That is the pin that lifts the axle. Make sure those are in so the pin doesn't rattle out. When you come back over here, put it back into normal ride height, or depending on what you're doing, override it and bring the air up. Normal ride height's in the middle. So this axle will lift. There you go. The axle is lifted. It took about an additional 30 seconds. So just press the pause button so we didn't have to have that in the video. Just want to show you the additional ride height button here. Right now it's pushed in. That's pushed out. Or it's pulled out now. You can hear the air dumping. Which is what you don't want when you have the axle lifted. I'm showing you guys right now. Then when you pull that button out, that axle touches the ground. The tires touch the ground. Okay? So you must have this button pushed in to keep it up off the ground. You can hear the air going in there slowly right now to lift that axle. Alright? And remember, you cannot have air going to the airbag when you're lifting that rear axle. Right now it's dumped. Because I have the button on the right pulled out for the airbag going to the axle. And that would be it for this video. I'll be doing another one when I figure out how to set up the steering, and another one to start the engine and everything. See ya.